Dr. Art, we're live.
We're live.
Were you ready to go live? Because I wasn't ready to go live. I thought this spinny thing was going to happen for another couple of seconds.
Another at least let you roll one for a minute. And...
Yes.
Okay.
I'm all hot and sweaty from pushing the car.
Well, it's your car, so you deserve it.
God, I really learned to hate that car. But at least the only thing that really matters is that we don't have anybody here.
There's
it's
no
just
one.
You and me.
No one.
We can just be ourselves.
We can do whatever we want.
What do you want to talk? Let's talk about. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Nothing. We wouldn't be talking about anything. We would
that's why we're late, because we were out there bullshitting for.
That's right. We've run out of things to say. Oh wait, people are coming in.
People came in.
Joe McKeisner is in. Joe K. Danny Martino. Carbide Jones. Hi guys.
Hi.
Oh, yes.
Josh Homan.
Yes.
Tim
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Tim wants to talk about the lap placements. You know what? That might be the best thing that could happen to somebody with a Demon 170. They can't get an engine.
They can't just here. Here's a crate elephant and go away.
just park it. You're lucky.
You own a brick. That's what you bought. Have a good time.
I Spider Garage. What's happening? Mexican Spec is in the house.
I Spider Bryce all the way from Arizona.
Really?
Yeah.
We reach all the way to Arizona.
All the way.
Whoa!
Through the internet and pull people.
Fubar is in the house. We can take it down a couple of notches. We're lucky. We have the Foob.
Roscoe, Flipper Dolphin.
Yes.
John T01.
Kevin Lebowski. What's happening, guy?
Is that the Big Lebowski?
Lubinsky. It's Kevin Lubinsky.
I knew Lubinsky.
Danny Martino's on Staten Island. Oh, that place still floating? I left it like 22, 23 years ago, man.
Does it still smell like pee?
Please. It smells. I grew up a mile and a half from the world's largest landfill. You could not imagine what it smelled like in the summer.
Oh, I'm sure it was just pleasant.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Chongo, what's happening? Timothy Schuling is from Houston.
Houston.
Nice.
Yeah.
Danny Martino, no, not at all. Where great kills. Yeah, great kills. I was on Caton Avenue, and before that, I was on East Figueroa, off of Armstrong, between Armstrong and Abington. I don't even want to remember the crossroads. That's how bad my memories of New York City are. I don't even want to remember the crossroads that I lived at.
It's just flashing. Yeah,
I want it to just be gone. You know what I mean? Just gone.
Suck it out of my head.
Suck those memories out of my head. Let's see. Matt Reister, you rock, Uncle Tony. Also great to see Dr. Art on the channel. No, Matt, you rock. It takes a rocker to recognize a rocker.
Two things before we get started.
Yes.
The next 2 Thursdays, I'll be out of town.
Where are you going?
Not quite sure next Thursday, but the Thursday after that, St. Louis.
Okay. So
there's no conspiracy. Yeah, there's no conspiracy that,
Okay.
So everyone knows I'm just not in town those 2 Thursdays for the next 2 weeks.
David Morgan, Tony, I watched your video of the track run. I imagine you mean with the propane. How was the day out in the atmosphere of the track? Oh, the atmosphere of that track is always awesome. It's very kicked back. You can't beat Buffalo Valley for that.
I think he was meeting air density.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
That.
It was like 65. It was good. It was good. Mexican Spec son. Greetings, Junior Spec. Let's see. Eric's Garage. What year 904s can I use behind an LA 318? All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
All of them. If it's a 904 from a V8, because they get slant 6 904s too, but if it's for a V8, all of them will bolt behind your LA. Um,
And he gets to fix the leaks where the ship cable parts, like I just did on the Barracuda.
well, unless it's a later one, because that doesn't.
Oh, later ones don't have that back shift cable?
No.
On the 904s?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that stopped in 65, 66. They
Oh,
have the,
so I'm the lucky one?
yes.
Okay.
And Fubar just put up the link to my merch. Put Kathy Bananas to work. So, this isn't my merch. This is a Superstock and Drag Illustrated shirt, which I can legitimately wear because I wrote for Superstock and Drag Illustrated. Zero. Joe K. Tony, latest neutral drop video. Mrs. Landy's sister got to wake up. I saw a few minutes of it. I couldn't watch it.
Who is it? What video was that?
You know neutral drop?
No.
Oh man, there's some guys from New York.
Okay.
And to me, it's a throwback because I came from people like that. I was surrounded my whole world. Imagine being surrounded by millions of people like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know. You don't even know because you don't know how they are. So
I've met enough of you.
they got to beat me on a slant six Valiant. So neutral drop. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Just neutral drop stuff. Yeah. They do the rocking horse, back and forth with the. And I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. Rocco, will an LA bolt to a vehicle that was built with a Magnum? Yes, it will. The Magnum has the same bolt pattern and the same everything on the back. Christian Cowboy Racing Team. How easy would it be to build a 10-second Mopar LA out of a 1976 LA? Bottle Rocket hasn't gone there yet, but it's close. It's actually easier than you think. Anything you can do with a 340, you could do with a 318. You're missing what? 4 plus 43, like 50 thousandths of an inch more. That's it. No, it's more than that. 50. It's 130 thousandths of an inch more. But other than that, it's the same architecture. It's the same. The 318 is stout. Go back and look at Bottle Rocket videos. Go on my channel and search Bottle Rocket, and you'll see everything we did to that engine, everything that's in it, and what it's done so far. What have you done with smog?
Smog got, well, the trans leaks are all fixed now.
Nice.
So it's not coating under the car.
Okay.
It came a little bit late. It didn't save the rust, but the exhaust isn't covered and stuff like that. So that's all done. The shocks are all done. Bunch of cleaned up, bunch of fixed small stuff. I got some screws for the door, so the door latch would actually close the passenger door. And then I have the 4-barrel intake and everything, which is going to go on this weekend.
Nice.
And I got a guy on Facebook trying to scam me out of $180 for a front sway bar, but
I mean, that's about what that stuff goes for.
well, I know. I said, yeah, I'll buy it. Send me a picture. Okay.
Eric's Garage. What does Bottle Rocket run motor only? Down the track. It runs down the track.
Yeah, you
Motor only.
yeah, never knew. Yeah.
And oddly enough, it runs down the track on nitrous too. So either way, that's what it runs.
Down the track.
Down the track. Let's see. Smog, yes. Yes, Zero. He's clarifying Smog, the Mopar 8-body, formerly known as Scribbles.
That's right. Scribbles is dead.
Yeah. Jay Weiss. Here's a good question. Can I ask a silly question?
Of course.
Are you both retired now or still working behind the scenes?
Well, you never worked, so you can't really be retired.
Well, I've never had a job. To be perfectly honest with you, I've never had a job, so I don't know what that's like. I do YouTube full time. I've done YouTube full time for 7 years. For 6 years, it's paid my bills. So with absolutely no complaints. But yeah, no, I'm not retired. I'm a YouTuber.
I was for a minute and I got bored. No.
Now
I got bagged by another company again. They said, "Come here."
He does jobs.
Here, I do jobs.
I'm what they call hardcore unemployable.
I'm just tired.
I would never hire myself, literally for anything.
No, go.
Mexican Spec, you said you worked for Chrysler dealer for 2 weeks. Yes. And I worked on staff as a technical editor for a while, but I was actually making my money as a freelancer.
Oh, and I got. Oh, before I forget, got a question from a viewer who got a hold of me and asked a question. Do you know anyone making a good replacement harmonic balancer for a 4-liter Jeep motor?
It's got to be. I mean, that's got to be the most common thing in the world. Yeah.
He said he's having problems.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, it seems like anything I need from like Rock Auto is
that's
there the next day for pennies. It's the cheapest vehicle I've never worked with.
It's just a question that I got. I'm like, I don't know, so I'll ask.
Tell him to go to Rock Auto.
Yeah, because he wanted a Wazoo one, but nobody makes a Wazoo one, I guess.
Joe K, didn't you work for the magazines? I got paid as a freelancer, right? So I was listed as staff, but I got paid. What happened was I had a job, and I walked in and I quit my job, and I went back to my desk and declared myself to be a freelancer. And so I just got paid for every page that I turned out.
Charlie White got his 55 Ford Fairlane running today. Sounds awesome.
Nice, congratulations.
Yeah.
Territory. Per TK's Garage, Stellantis is getting a huge break from the government for a limited time to allow them to bring manufacturing to the U.S. How long before they have it up again? I don't. Well, the commie's gone. What the hell was his name?
Oh yeah,
Carlos Tavares.
Yeah,
he's gone. He's gone. And so now Tim Kuniskis is in. Now I used to have huge respect for Tim Kuniskis. Like you remember when they did the Demon 170 intro?
Yeah.
Right. And all of that. I was like, oh my God, this guy is dialed in. This guy is all right.
Mm-hmm.
And like even though I have no association with modern Chryslers, I was like, yes, I felt Dodge pride here. Okay, this guy is cool. And then he did all of the stuff
with the electric
charger,
the speakers.
Yes, and I lost all respect for this guy. I mean, I just all respect. It's like, okay, he's just another corporate freaking shill. So
how long till they fuck it up?
Yeah, they're in the process.
By the time if you don't wind your watch for a day, the time it stops, it'll be in the gutter.
Everything that they like, everything is the things they get from their suppliers and stuff. Ticket items. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, let's build more Hornets. That's the answer.
You can.
The rental car companies won't even take Hornets.
Oh, they have there's like a 3-year supply.
Yeah, because like the big 3 rental companies, they're like, no, we'll take all the minivans. Those are cool. No Hornets. No.
I've never seen one in the wild.
No,
I've never seen one.
They don't make it over the curb.
I didn't think
they go and they die. It's like a mayfly, but a bee. Hornet dead.
Let's see. Joe K saying, honestly, I think his hands was tied with the EV commercial. Dude, no. No, I would never do it. Okay? There is not enough money on the planet. There's nothing.
If he had any self-pride, he'd have sent a Patsy out to introduce it.
I would have quit. I would have just quit.
Oh, be like, here's your keys.
Here's your keys. Here you go.
I'm done. Here's my laptop.
I'm done. You ass clowns, go ahead and do what you're going to do. I'm out of here. I would not allow myself to be associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say I have no respect for the guy. That's not the words that came out of his mouth. It's the fact that, you could, no.
Why do we insist? Not a touchscreen, right?
Not a touchscreen. No, I went cheapo.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Let's try that.
One for the road is saying, in case you missed it, I posted part 3 of the SHO Ranger build. Interesting.
Nice.
Engine is in and made it to the trans. Should have a part 4 in a couple of weeks. I'm running in case you're interested. So, guys, if you're interested in a SHO Ranger build,
sounds cool.
That sounds very cool.
Yeah.
And pretty complicated, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Go to One for the Roads channel and check that out. Richard Hayes. Hey guys, my 91 F-150 sat over the winter during spring startup. The starter broke the ear. The motor will not turn full 360 degrees clockwise by hand, but will turn all day long counter. Thoughts? So it won't spin a full 360 degrees clockwise, but it'll spin counterclockwise. No, it's not. That's how you broke something there, bro. I don't know.
It's yeah. There's a cylinder full of something, or
If you're spinning it backwards, let's say the cylinder is full of water.
it'd go up the intake and then go right back down.
Oh, I don't know. I yank a head off, man. Yank a head off.
Yeah, because something happened.
Mexican Spec just put up a link to One for the Roads channel.
Nice.
So, okay. So here's the thing, right? You could tell if it's a hard stop, it's mechanical. If it's a hydraulic stop, so in other words, like it'll be a soft stop. And if you keep enough pressure on it long enough, some of the fluid will bleed past the rings, and you'll be able to move it.
Take the plugs out.
More. Or take the plugs out. Thank you, Dr. Art.
Yeah, take the plugs out and try to roll it over.
Wheelie King, gentlemen, good evening. Thoroughly enjoyed the UTG CWM live Tuesday. Yes, I enjoyed that too. We will definitely get together again with Scott. He was awesome. There's so many things we could talk about. Hey, can you hold this down for 1 second?
I can.
I never turned the battery, the jump pack.
The jump pack on to charge.
Right.
All right. Let's see what we got going on. Put the glasses on. Would you choose a 2 in 1.5 valve combo over a 1.9616 setup? An old small block Ford cylinder head. Any knowledge that you can throw down about relative intake and exhaust? Would you choose a 1.5 intake valve combo over a 1.94? I don't know why you would. Nathan Ricksman, would you choose 2 in 1.5 in valve combo over a 1.9416 setup in an old small block Ford cylinder head?
Oh, a 2 inch and a 1.5 inch valve combo over 194.16. Okay. Oh.
And it's a Ford, so you want the big exhaust.
Yeah, you know what? Because those things have really small exhaust ports. I would think. Oh God, I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's like a question for somebody who's very familiar with cams and those cylinder heads. I'm trying to think who I could. Who's the go-to Ford guy?
I mean, ask Andy Wood, I guess.
Andy Wood. Ask Andy Wood, Unity Motorsports Garage. He could give you a much more educated, much better educated opinion on that than I could.
Yeah, but from here, I'd say the most exhaust help you can
Yeah,
put on the small block Ford. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie White is saying me. Well, Charlie, answer his question, Charlie. What's this? Jay Weiss, MS. You talking about me? I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. Andy would, but Kiwi wouldn't. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
They bumped off Judge Wapner and took his house. They snuffed the Wapner? Oh my God.
Why would they stuff Wapner?
I don't know, but they evidently didn't. They took his house.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rocco saying no, that was Scalia.
Chief Justice.
Yeah, I think they did snuff.
Did they?
Yeah, but
okay.
And you see the latest thing they're saying that Vance snuffed the Pope. The Pope. I can't say.
JD Vance went to the Vatican to snuff the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is pretty freaking cool.
I mean, just wave a pillow in front of him. He's like 89 years old. Boo.
Apologies to anybody who's
Yeah,
devout.
Pope family people.
Yeah. Let's see, War Ghost. You should do a video about 2-barrel to 4-barrel swaps. He's doing that right now.
It's Saturday. You'll see it. A complete, comprehensive small block Mopar 2-barrel to 4-barrel swap.
There you go. It doesn't matter 3 or 4.
Do you want that old junk for any reason?
No, I got so much old junk I'm trying to get rid of.
All right, it's free to anyone who wants it before the garbage man comes. Chinese 2-barrel and everything.
Oh, that thing. Oh, just toss that. Just throw that over a fence, man. Haggerty did a video, Haggerty did a video on the XJ, how it was America's favorite hot hatch. The XJ, a hot hatch? By no stretch of the imagination is that a hot hatch.
No.
But then again, that's Haggerty. I mean, who the hell knows what goes on in these people's heads? Let's see. This is Eddie Bravo, Mexican loves Trump. Okay. Rocco saying the Pope wasn't freaking
skip that.
I choose not to go into any of that direction.
We should mail that carburetor back to China.
Want to send it back to China?
Yes. that would be hilarious.
They'll slap a tariff on it.
I don't care. I'm just postage. I'm not. It's declared value is 0. You can't tariff 0.
Just mail it to China.
To China from Dr. Art.
Do it. Do it. That's a great short.
I like that. And just plaster it with Trump stickers, with Trump postage.
You can do that too.
Send it right to China.
This is how we make America great again.
Yeah.
Send you this DVD carburetor.
Send it back. It's still filled with cheap fuel in it. But the car runs nice now because I've been playing with it and tweaking it. It just boom, fires right up. It's quiet.
Jay Weiss, hey fellas, do you collect car manuals? You should have a few 1970s car manuals, right? I have a 1967 Plymouth service manual. Plymouth B body. Does it cover A bodies too? I don't know. A and B body service manual for like little numbers and stuff that I can't remember. And really that's it.
I just got like the Haynes books and those kind of things, stuff like that.
Yeah, ever since the internet, you
can Google anything you want.
Yeah, it's a lot faster to just pick up your phone and go, what's the valve flash on a 19, whatever it happens to be. It's a lot faster than going and digging through the books and finding it.
Territory wants to know when we're going to Mexico to race.
When are we racing? You and I were supposed to race Bottle Rocket against the Ranger.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to push you. I figured I'd leave it.
But it's been ready for like a year. So
like I says, I didn't want to push you. I put it back together again. And
I know it's all
back together again.
It's all in one piece.
And so that was like my way of saying, whenever you're ready, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to be like one of them guys. You know what I'm saying?
Probably like the second. Well, we're going to have to do it on a Friday because I want to do it at Etheridge, not
Etheridge.
Etheridge, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd have to be a Friday. Friday night Etheridge.
All right. You figure out the date and let me know.
I'll let you know.
That car's just sitting there.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Then I can sell that thing too, as far as I'm concerned. And sell everything.
Stray Bullet. What happens if Google quits someday, though? We'll have much bigger fish to fry than not having service manuals for 1970s cars.
Google. Yeah, if the Google machine shuts down.
Yeah, much bigger fish to fry. You're not going to worry about.
Everyone's going to be walking anyway. Yeah, because everything's dead and gone.
Jay Weiss, I thought you guys would be lovers of American pickers and collect car signs and have some huge signs on the wall of the garage. I actually enjoyed that show.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the guy who passed.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about him. There was something about him that was just like, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to like share a car ride with that guy.
Yeah.
You know, does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
But the guy Mike, I liked him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He bought a lot of the town of Columbia, which is about 40 miles from here.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. And he's got
like their old decrepit downtown. He bought a lot of that.
Yeah. And then he moved himself from Iowa to right by where Kiwi is.
Yeah, in Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lives right up the road from. Yeah, he used to stop in at Kiwis and stuff like that. And
yeah. Kiwi and Mike from American Pickers, they know each other. But I'm not big on memorabilia. I just people give me stuff every once in a while, and I'll hang it here or there. But I've never bought a piece of memorabilia.
No, and I've moved across country so many times, miscellaneous stuff like that.
It gets lost.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's cool. I'd like to have like an old gas pump, but I mean, someday when I'm old and I can keep my garage not a complete farting disaster, you know, with welding and grinding and crap and grease and
yeah, but that's the whole point of a garage.
Well, I know, so it'll never happen.
Some people just they love the memorabilia. They love to have all of this stuff. I'm totally not like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Josh Holman talking about American Pickers. Someone here said that one of them killed the other. No. The guy Frank died from like a stroke or some shit like that.
Fatness.
Yeah. Now they are closed, and they had a place in Nashville. I just saw this. Kathy just told me this yesterday. That they have a store in Nashville, and they're closing.
Oh, that old automobile factory. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oscar Gonzalez, does anyone miss the show American Hot Rod? That was the Boyd Coddington one.
Yeah, it was too much made up drama, like all those TV shows.
Yeah, I maybe saw an episode or two of it. I'm not.
It's always this guy and you and yelling at this guy, and you got your little stumpy helper, and yeah. Where's my wife? All that stuff. It's just drama. It's no good.
Rocco saying the tubby girl does burlesque. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. I saw that. Yeah.
I don't even want to know about that.
You don't. It's weird. Okay, it's weird. Boyd didn't like anyone leaving his garage. So the rumor is, right, that okay. Did you see that time capsule 57, or was it 58 Fury? 57 Fury. 58 Fury. I don't know. A Plymouth Fury.
Okay.
They buried this car it was brand new. They drove it from the dealership and buried it in a time capsule.
Okay.
Right? To be opened up 50 years later. Okay. So Boyd Coddington was one of the guys that they brought in, one of the experts to go over the car.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was the thing that the crypt that they sealed the car in cracked and leaked water. So this thing sat percolating in water for 50 years.
It's just Swiss cheese.
Right. So evidently it was so toxic that's what killed Boyd Coddington.
Really?
Because he had his head. Has anybody else heard that? That he had his head in the car and stuff like that, and like immediately afterwards he didn't feel good, and then he got sick, and then downhill from there.
So he got Christine.
Yeah, he got Christine. Yeah. You guys are saying no. Yeah, look into it. Miss Belvedere. Yes, that was the name of it. Fatty is saying Boyd was severely diabetic. Okay. I'm just telling you what I remember reading when this happened. Mexican spec is saying, don't blame the car if that happened. She was treated badly.
Buried alive and then covered in water for 50 years. Yeah, you'd be pissed off too.
Wargo's saying, I don't believe it. What about plastics and the seat stuffing, which was mohair at the time?
And it's brand new. All the toxic chemicals haven't leached out of the interior yet.
Matthew, Tony, have you ever met Steve Brule of West Tech? I never had the honor, no. Mold ghost. Yeah, mold. I mean, Rocco was saying they put a Plymouth Prowler back in the vault and sealed it up.
Good. That's all they're good for.
That's a car that's gone completely extinct.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you'd see one out and about.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone. I don't know where they went.
Well, yeah, 3 people have them, and they're all 95 years old. Look at that. Browner. Okay. Watch, in 5 years, there'll be a plethora of them from all these estate sales.
Right. It's going to be a glut, a Prowler glut.
Of prowlers that all need everything.
Anthony Perna says he just got back from test driving his truck. It's finally back on the road for the first time in 2 years. Congratulations.
Nice job.
Rocco's saying Prowlers still bring good money. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't.
They're very taste specific.
I'm not going to mention. I can't mention the guy's name because people may know him.
Okay.
Right? But I'm over it, and I can't even mention the classic car dealer.
Okay.
This is several years ago. I'm over at one of these classic car dealers, right? And this guy that you may or may not know his name, so I'm just not going to mention his name. He's working there, all right? So there were 2 Prowlers parked next to each other. And this has nothing to do with me. I'm just walking around. I'm looking at other cars, and I'm talking to somebody. And he had to push one of the Prowlers out of the way to get another car. So he cut the wheel, put it in, and he's pushing it. And as he's pushing it, I hear, he turned the wheel in such a way, or had it angled in such a way that it rubbed up against the other one, and it caught the fender and cracked the fender. And he was looking around. He didn't see anything. Straightened the wheel, pushed it back a little bit.
Nothing to
and
see
went about his business.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys end up with a Prowler that has a cracked fender, I watched it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Christian Cowboy Racing Team. The 318 LAM building is for a 99 Dodge Dakota street strip truck. I would like to put a manual transmission behind it, as everyone runs an automatic transmission. What can you recommend? I mean, you could bolt it together with an 833 with a 4-speed. You have 5-speed options.
But a street, you said street and strip truck. So you want the 5-speed, yeah.
Yeah. See, if I was doing it, I would just go for simplicity's sake, and I would find a 23 spline 833 4-speed, and I would just bolt it together using stock parts. It's more than strong. That's the thing. It's like you can say, okay, T5, and I can't really speak for the strength of those. If you ask me my opinion, I would go with an 833 4-speed. But there's lots of other, I'm sure there are guys in the comments here who have opinions on what 5-speed to use. And then there was silence.
Yeah, they're all on a Prowler thing. Barrows is here.
What's happening, man? Barrows is correct about what? The Prowler launched Chip to fame, but he actually hates. Whoops.
Yeah, he hates the car. Well, you had it. Yeah.
Because it was so edited from his original design. Oh, I can understand that.
Yeah.
You promised us some time with your Blue Road Runner this year. Can you please profile that car? with driving action. I know. I'm so neglectful. I have so many other things that I just need to get to. I will try to. Thank you for the super chat.
Well, the blue Roadrunner is Kathy's car, isn't it? Anyway.
I mean, it is and it isn't. She wanted a '68 Roadrunner. So I found this. She found the car. I went down. We bought it. Dragged it home. And as I'm starting to put it together as a stock '68 Roadrunner, she says, "I don't want a boring car." I says, "Well, what do you want?" She says, "I want a car like we used to mess around with." So he says, "All right, fine." So I started building what would be maybe the quintessential 1970s New York City street rat, B-body. And it's a car that just has no place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no, I gotta explain it to you. Like, we built the car. There's no Fountain Avenue. There's no South Avenue. There's no Front Street here. There's no, like it's a car that belongs to a different era that really doesn't have that kind of scene happening anymore. So because of that, I really don't have any motivation, and the car just sits.
It'd be fun to drive, and then yay, okay, then put it
Yeah,
away.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Water. One for the road. Tony, you really disappoint us with no updates on your project cars. I update them as we go along. I haven't done anything. Bottle Rocket is done. There's really nothing for me to do with it except like take it out and race people like him. Sledgehammer is done except for just like working little bugs out. You know what I mean? It's like, but I'm not changing anything on the car. It is what it's going to be. We were working on a propane car. We just ran it last Saturday. So there's the update on that. There'll be another update coming tomorrow. What else?
I don't know. The Jeep is parked, and
we're going to get back to the Mad Maxine thing. I've just been busy with the propane car. I'm one guy. I'm one person.
With a motorcycle fetish in nice weather.
I'm that too. Oscar Gonzalez, thank you for the super chat. Saw your video on unrepairable car with Demon technology. Do you think the car repair will be difficult in the future? Will we be forced to go to dealerships? Will we be fixing our own cars Cuban style? I think that the average person, I think that the normies out there are so screwed, they don't have a clue. They don't understand just how bad it is. People who've bought cars in the last 5 years, 6 years, like that, 8 years, they don't understand. When a taillight went out on their old car, the taillight bulb, they go to the parts store, they buy a bulb for $2, they screw it in, and it's done. Now it's $500, $800 for the lens. It's got to go to the dealership. It's got to be programmed.
Yeah. The calibration on it's $500.
Right.
Yeah. It's $1,000 because your taillight burned out. Easy.
Right. The average person does not understand how screwed they are, and that's scary. That's scary. I don't know.
Dust Devil Garage, Brian. I have seen the Blue Roadrunner in person 2 times on the Blue Roadrunner content. Oh, he was up here?
Yeah, he dropped by my house.
Oh, great.
The 73 Roadrunner, I know it's sitting there too, sitting on a flat tire.
You talk, and then it just.
Which one?
Your Roadrunner.
Which one?
The 73.
It's a great car. I'm one guy. I'm one guy.
Well, force you to sell all the Jeeps, and you have to then drive what's in the front of the house.
The problem is, it's not a problem. It's just the way it is. You have to understand that this is a business, right? What I do is a business. It's my job, right? I do videos like, let's say that one on the Demon 170, or
The distributor video,
right?
Yeah.
Well, no, even a distributor, no, not so much.
Okay.
Okay. I do videos on runaway technology. I do videos on, on all that stuff, right? And I do one every week or two. I'll kick one in there, right? They'll get 200, 300, 500, 800,000 views, all right? And costs me zero. Doesn't cost me anything. Every time I put one of those videos out, I get longer view durations. I get higher income off of ads. Like I can explain to you, those are the videos that actually make me money, and they make money consistently. Like people are still watching the point video that I did, fighting the system, old world tech or something like that. It's constantly earning me money. I do a project car. The project car costs me time, it costs me money, and each installment only gets about 30,000 views, 40,000 views, tops. So what you guys have to understand is that every time I do something with a car, I'm losing money. But I do it because I'm trying to keep the channel balanced. So there's a little bit of for everything. I do the project cars and stuff like that, working with the cars just to maintain balance. So that people who are into that kind of content can follow along, can learn from it, right? But I lose money on every single one. That's what you got to understand. That's why there isn't much motivation to do those, because business-wise, it works against me. Does that make any sense?
No, it makes 100% sense. I'll do a tuning video, which I get paid from the person to do the video, and those do better than me, rebuilding an engine, which costs me hundreds in time and weekends, right, and to get no views. So,
I'm not supposed to talk about money, but just to give you an idea, right? I did a battery revival video, right?
With the welder.
I did the stick welder battery revival video, right? Right now it's got 1.1 million views. I made $28,000 off of that video. I worked for 1 hour and made 28 grand. and I make money every day with it. There is nothing you can do in the world of project cars that I could do in the world of project cars that would come close to matching that.
Super chat from
Backroads and Bass. Thank you, sir. In the mid-90s, I had a respectful street car that ran mid-13s. What does it take to have a respectable car in the 2025 street scene? More than that.
Yeah. I mean,
that's hard to say.
Fill in the blank. I mean, 2,000 horsepower. Yeah, you're good until the guy with 2,500 comes along.
Well, yes and no. Because at 2,500 horsepower isn't, first off, you're not sticking it to the track.
Well, but these guys, they race on the freeway. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but he's talking about from the dig. He's talking about a 13-second car.
All right.
Yeah, if you're racing on the freeway, if you're one of these top-end guys, right, then it's just a power game. That's all it is, right? 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 horsepower, right? But if you're going from the dig and you're doing it on the street, a good, let's say, 400 horsepower, well-sorted car can go toe-to-toe with a 1,000 horsepower car. Because the 1,000 horsepower car is not going to stick, and it's got traction control. It's like it'll make 1,000 horsepower, but it's bringing it back to 200 horsepower to grab the ground and then feeding it back in. In the meantime, you're moving forward at a steady pace. So over the course of a typical 8-mile street race, you've got a really good chance with a 13-second car to beat an 11-second car. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Flatty 915, do you associate with Stacy David? I messaged him a couple of times, but he doesn't seem to want to deal with me, so I'm cool with that.
Never met him.
Let's see. Backroads and Bass makes sense. Yeah, like I said, you can't go by dyno numbers.
That's engine. If you're an engine builder, look what the engine I've built.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, just doesn't mean nothing.
Dyno numbers do not get your car down the track. One for Tony. The project comment was a joke. Was a joke. You didn't read the second half of my comment. I was self-deprecating, loving man. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Ron Armstrong, these days for 28,000, I would go to revivals. The revival market is covered. That's saturated. It's been saturated. And honestly, I don't have any desire to do that. I like to do revivals. I've done several where people brought me the car, and that's fine. I'll get it running. You bring me anything, I'll get it running. Okay, but I'm not going out. More power to the guys that can do that. I am not one of them.
We need to find like a $50 car that we can cut the roof off and drive it through the woods back here and film the whole thing and just
do that. Use it as a bush hog.
Yeah, we'll just put a big death blade in front of it and drive, take out trees and everything else in the way. Yeah.
Barrow's Garage. In the late 80s, early 90s, I beat a lot of guys on cruise night in my 1.8 Buick Skyhawk. It wasn't about the car. It was knowing my target. I once wasted a 340 Dart, okay, with a Toyota Yaris, with a rented Toyota Yaris. I had he says, don't lie, man, don't lie. We were going to race. I brought him to this, I said, all right, I got the place to go, right? So I brought him to the snottiest section of road that I knew of, which was actually by the old shop. Long, straight, no problems, right? Nothing getting in the way. And at the very end, there's a big, huge gravel parking lot that they park, buses and shit like that on. So that end of the road is all powdered. It's got all the powder from the gravel. So I brought him down there. He didn't know we were going, right? I brought him down there and we raced heads up, and I wasted him. like I freight trained him, because there was no place in the first, anywhere through first or second gear, he could get the slightest traction. And all I did was go, and the Yaris just marched away. Let's see. Oh, Zero's putting a link to the Valley Revival video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't get those. You don't get those all the time. Like I've
those
had
dingers, yeah.
Yeah, I've had videos with more views than that made a lot less money. It's view duration. There's a lot of factors that go into
time of year that you put the video out.
Time of year that you put the video out. But I'm just saying, for me to do a video that's on a project car that's going to get 25 or 30,000 views, I'm actually cutting my own throat instead of putting out a video, one of these, let's say bigger picture, philosophical, that sort of thing. Those make money. Harry Lister, Yaris is Tony's if you give him a chance to hustle you. Dude, I only know how to hustle. I don't know how to do anything like, when it comes to like racing and stuff. I have no idea how to do it straight up. I only know how to hustle.
Eric S. He says, Rocco, exactly. I thought I was buying 2 Speedway heads on Black Friday, drinking. So walk away and they let me buy the second one at Black Friday price.
Oh, yeah, we ran into that. I ran into that.
Look at the deal on this. And you get one.
One.
Yeah.
Joe K, when all else fails, grab the boomer chair. The boomer chair has made me a lot of money.
Kalatra 1. Would a tail shaft bushing cause big vibrations?
Every time.
Everything else is rebuilt, yeah, and balanced. Yep.
Every time.
Every time.
One for the road saying, I've been on the receiving end of a drag race loss to a pathetic car. had a hopped up Shelby Daytona 5-speed and lost to a normally aspirated PT Cruiser.
Yep.
Street racing is not necessarily about the fastest, and it's the one with the most skill. It's the one, you got to think ahead.
You got to outbrain the other guy.
You got to outbrain the other guy. When I was a kid, I used to look at suspensions and back tires. Like if I was going to pick a race, and you go to, let's say, one of these cruise nights or gatherings and stuff like that, I would look at tires. And if I saw like a low profile tire or a Mopar with like slapper bars and stuff like that, where this guy has no clue what he's doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you pick your races that way. Harko's saying if your best title is Old Man Yells at Cams. Well, I get that comment a lot anytime I do like a boomer chair video. It's like Old Man Yells at Clouds, Old Man Yells at Cams.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbird 1968. What ET can a front sump pan with basic baffles handle? Good question.
There's a lot of variables in that. How deep is the pan? What's it in? How much is transferring? How many quarts are in it to start with? And is there windage trays or
how good are the baffles?
Yeah.
How high? What's the RPM on the motor? The distance?
Yeah. What is the motor? Is it something that keeps the oil up in the heads until it's
it's impossible to throw an ET number at it. It's impossible. But let's put it this way: anything with a front sump pan, you're rolling the dice. You're always rolling the dice because acceleration is always working against you. So, you could have a front sump setup that'll work okay on an 1/8 mile, so it'll keep enough in the sump for an 1/8 mile run. But then you get like 800, 1,000 feet out, and at that point, you've got so much in the cylinder head and so much wrapped up in the crankshaft, it goes dry. Yeah, and remember, as you're accelerating, all of the oil in the engine is oil comes down, and it's not trying to. It's getting pushed to the back. Everything wants. It's like sideways rain inside the engine, so it's all raining to the back. The further you go, the less there is in the sump, and there's no provision to bring it back forward.
He said it's a stock 429 with a 4.5 quart pan.
Then you put a baffle in.
Well, if it's a stock 429, it's not going to go past 4,500.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, no. Thunderbird, listen, the only thing I can tell you is try it and do it in an area where you can really watch the oil pressure gauge. If you see it start to do any type of, like wiggling, fluttering, just stop. That's the only way you can really know if what you have is going to work. And right away you would think, well, okay, it's going to happen immediately. As soon as you hit the gas, all the oil is going to go to the back. And you hit the gas. If you've got, let's say, 4.5 quarts in the sump, 3 quarts may find their way to the back, leaving you a quart down there. So it's not going to show up until you're, let's say, 50 feet out, 100 feet out. So you can say, you hit it, and it's like, oh, look, I got oil pressure. That's great. The baffles worked. No, most of it's gone already. And, the gauge goes to zero, and your expenses go higher. Harry Lister is saying, check out DIY Dave tore down a Toyota engine with 250,000 miles after using every chemical known to man to stop oil burning. Absolutely the cleanest pistons and rings ever. Okay. Dean Stevenson is saying, Canada, it has a big hole running through to the Antarctic. Zero. He's talking to Zero. Admiral Byrd was right. Anyone in that guild you can believe. What do you make of that? The whole Admiral Byrd.
Well, the book was his diary. What was written in it was put in by his daughter to sell a book. If you research it.
Okay, see that's what I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it was his diary.
Yeah, he was an actual person, an explorer,
Yes.
went to Antarctica, and his whole trip was like, it's too cold, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
But that wouldn't sell books. So it's, my father threw a plane for 3 hours and got sucked in by spaceships and landed, and there was a forest and monkeys and.
So none of that was written in his own hand.
No.
Okay, well that answers that.
That was all written by his daughter later because Daddy's dead, let's cash in, and it became folklore.
I'll go with that. I don't know other than that. Yeah, Operation High Jump.
Yeah. Antarctica, there's nothing there but cold and misery.
Yeah.
there's no portal to aliens on planet Xenu or.
Well, some people with flat earthers say that it's actually an ice wall.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That Africa would be a land wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah. Stop! It's just
know.
Cold.
I don't know.
The bottom doesn't get any sun. It's hanging out in space. It's freezing. Stay away. Live near the equator if possible.
Rocco saying, what about the Russian report of aliens turning soldiers to stone? I don't really buy that either.
No, I mean,
I'm not saying I don't believe in aliens. I just don't think they would waste their time turning anything to stone.
Right. Turn them into licorice, maybe. But something make it useful. If you got that alchemy going. Yeah, what we could turn these people into cheese.
Right, turn me into cheese. Exactly. That's what I'm mozzarella. If an alien's going to turn me into anything, I want it to be mozzarella.
Yeah, and feed it to the alien dogs. Yeah. We got this Russian mozzarella cheese man, and that's about as believable as anything else, I think.
I'm not even sure what Dean is saying there.
Leave Admiral Byrd, but that's an uncommon attacker. I don't know. He might have had a stroke.
I actually, see. No, this is really going into.
Okay.
Okay.
No, do it. That's why we're here. Spit it out.
No, this is so far out of our range. I don't even want to go there. It's like
just do it. How about part of it? Spit out part of it.
I'll just okay. So I watched a thing on Israeli David Nino Rodriguez. He used to be a fighter,
mm-hmm.
and now he does a podcast. And he had a guy on last night. I watched this it was about an hour and a half about clowns and the history of clowns, like where they actually came from and how it's a common thing in all ancient cultures.
Mm-hmm.
But that's as far as I want to go with that, because now it starts getting into like way crazy stuff. But it was extremely interesting.
Okay.
End of time, so fentanyl alien picking up butts at the mall. Okay. Rocco saying it's been nice knowing you guys. Yeah. Have a great life, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rocco, you know what they told us to say about big shoes? That told you nothing, Tony? If you're interested in like
clown culture,
no, it's only clown culture. It goes way beyond that. It has to do with demonic spirits and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not like, in other words, it goes beyond like the like we know as the clown. You know what I mean? Like the clown is symbolic of something that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. in common cultures all over the world. So like the Aborigines, they have their version of it, and the Irish have their version of it, and the Vikings have their version of it.
Okay.
Okay, and it's common to all cultures. And then it was, let's say, it morphed into what we know today as the clown in the late 1700s
All right.
in the Western culture. So
before that, they were just court jesters and
no,
goat stabbing people on the top of the pyramid type stuff.
They, demonic spirit.
Okay.
Right. The clown represents basically the dark side.
That's why no one likes clowns.
Yeah, no one likes clowns. It explains Ronald McDonald very well. Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to my house of poison.
Let's see. No, clowns are not supposed to be funny. That's the thing. You watch this. This guy has literally dedicated his life to the research of clowns. Hardcore, right? It was an excellent. David Nino Rodriguez, and it was on last night. So if you guys are interested in like going like way out there, go watch it. I was captivated for an hour and a half with it. Klein Lawn Care and Snow Plowing. Where do you see the price of used cars, trucks, ages 10, 15, 20 years old and beyond going? Very high, bro. Very high. Clean survivors of pre-2000 cars. Very high.
That you can just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to become very much in demand. And when it comes to things like XJs and I'm only using the XJ as an example, but vehicles of that ilk, right? So S10 Blazers, fill in the blank, right? Anything like that. You're going to be fighting with municipalities for those vehicles.
Andrew Button. I have a low mileage 2002 Camaro with the LS1. Don't know what to do with it. Will that go up in value?
Yeah, I mean, anything that's rebuildable, and it's gonna be the pre-CAN bus era. Anything that can be wired conventionally, anything that can use relays and switches, or can be easily converted back to that. Yes, it'll be collectible.
Since Tony ruined the XJ market, I'm looking at a second gen Dodge Dakotas.
JP1 special. In one of your videos, you said to change the oil filter after the 20-minute cam break-in. Yes. Oh, we can't do that.
You didn't go buy a mouse.
Oops. I know I gotta buy a mouse. Oh geez, what did I do?
I don't know what you did.
I don't know. I lost the damn question. Oh, there it is. It said to change oil filter after the 20-minute cam break-in. Do you use more high zinc oil or another? No. Once after the cam break-in, I just use Rotella. I use Rotella or I use Delvac. Any diesel oil. But for the initial break-in, you want to use a high zinc oil. Okay.
Oh,
Bill McKay is good. Thank you so much, sir. Oops. I'm. All right. How do I get this here? There we go.
There you go.
Thank you for the super chat, Bill. Dale Earnhardt didn't die as a result of a broken seatbelt. The broken neck trauma head injury may have contributed to his death as the final nail in the coffin, but he was dead for at least unconscious before he ever hit the wall. Now, why do you say that, Bill? Because I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes you say that? That's the first I've ever heard of that. I heard there was a basal skull fracture, and it made sense. It made sense. It didn't look like a bad hit. I remember that. It was like, was that when afterwards when they said he was dead and we showed a replay of it, and I was like, how is that possible? You know, like just a hit like that. And then I realized, well, sometimes you hit things just the right way. And, you know.
And that was pre-Hans device or anything?
Pre-Hans device.
So your neck's just turkeying in the wind. Yeah.
Well, let me see what he has to say about that.
Oh.
Okay, what happened?
I don't know what you're doing.
What did I do?
I don't know. Just go down. Hit the down button.
Hit the down button. Down, boy. Okay. Why is everything highlighted in blue now?
I don't know what you did. Just let it.
And now it's
great.
Oh, there's something weird going on, guys. Hang on.
You're making it worse.
I'm trying to make it better, man. There we go.
No. You've copy and pasted and did something.
I don't want to copy and paste.
Just leave it.
Leave it in blue.
Leave it blue.
Leave it in blue. Sorry, guys. Okay, release the Dale investigation. I want to see the other ones, man. I'm starting to get a little impatient here.
Because of roof camera on the car, along with the radio communication to the car. Okay.
So then, what killed him specifically?
Did he just have like a coronary or something? And
I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, why would anybody cover it up? Let's say he had a stroke or a heart attack or something. You know, why would they? I don't know.
Mm.
Bill McKeiska, he was being told of a car to his inside and kept coming lower and lower until he was spun. When the car hit the apron, it shot the car back up the track and into the wall. Okay. I mean, could it have just been a steering malfunction, or you know, bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bill is saying, my guess is massive heart attack or stroke. But again, they autopsied him, right? And they found the neck fracture, you know, the skull fracture. I don't know. I don't know. This is the first I've heard of that. I'm not saying no. It's just the first I've heard. It's interesting. Most other parts. Ron Ward is in the house. In my opinion, Dale Earnhardt single-handedly ruined NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt was NASCAR. When Dale, just like Mike Tyson was boxing, Dale Earnhardt was NASCAR. He defined it. It was awesome. I never missed a race. I could care less about things going on.
Because you know he was going to pull something.
Yep.
He was the heel. You dirty cheater, what are you doing now?
Bill was saying they autopsied JFK too, right? Yeah, but that's different, man. They autopsied JFK as part of a thing, okay? What's the thing? Who tried to snuff Dale Earnhardt? This is a little bit different.
Wouldn't that be some shit if all of a sudden they found out there was actually a conspiracy? The CIA snuffed Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, Alan Schuldenbroth. I know we know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the official autopsy, but he's saying that there's
something before that.
Something before that. But yeah, he didn't ruin NASCAR. He defined NASCAR. Like I said, before Dale Earnhardt, it was one of those things I take it or leave it. Then the Dale Earnhardt years got started, and it was like I never missed a race. It was and me and millions of other people.
Right.
Zero is saying he created the NASCAR and sports merchandise empire that still lives and grew up watching NASCAR.
Everybody needed a Daniel shirt.
Yeah. Or a 3.
A three.
Everybody had to have a 3 on
A
there.
3 flag.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never went that far, but
You never had the Dale Earnhardt Monte Carlo?
no. Oh, I did. Actually, yeah. Come to think of it, I did. I had a Black Monty SS for almost 2 years. Now it's you know what? Here's a possibility. So okay. Let's go down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Okay.
Here's a possibility. He may have had a pre-existing condition.
Right.
Okay. But NASCAR allowed him to go out, or didn't
Prevent him
from racing. So if he did have a pre-existing condition, right? Let's say he had super high blood pressure, right?
Right.
Or something like that, and NASCAR said, no, you got to park it until you're healthy.
Their
Then
ratings would go down.
No, they'd be liable for his death because that's negligence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like letting a drunk guy out. You know what I
Right,
mean? But
yeah.
you know, it's your fault. It's
Oh
not-
yeah, he broke his neck. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think of it before, but that is a possibility.
See, there might be a.
So now we got to look into the Dale Earnhardt conspiracy. Let's see. Drunk NASCAR. No, I don't think he was drunk. No. And come to think of it now, first race of the year, which means that he had just had a physical.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
And they were like, well, Dale, I don't think you can race. And he went to Bill at NASCAR and said, you're going to take me out, really? Your TV audience is going to go away and you're going to lose millions.
No, I would see it the other way around. He'd be like, listen, I need a little bit of break. And Bill's like, no, you get out there.
Yeah, you're our cash cow.
You're our cash cow.
Yeah, you leave now, you're gone forever. Yeah.
Interesting. I never thought about that. It never crossed my mind. I just took it at face value.
And now we got Bill McKyska just rattling the cage of.
Bill, if you turn up anything else on that, I'm really curious. I'd like to know. Space Invader Earnhardt Gate.
Release the Earnhardt files.
Yeah, get on Pam Bondi right now.
What did you?
I don't know what I did. Oh, you made it good.
Yeah, magic.
Let's see. Bear was saying he was blocking for Dale Jr. and Michael Waltrip, who was on his team, and Mike won his first Daytona. I saw a thing. It was a while ago. I think it's true, but as they were when his transporter, when it left Florida on the way home, nobody would pass it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, evidently there was like a 10-mile long procession behind this thing.
Behind this number 3.
Behind yeah, nobody would pass it. Andrew Button, you know what would be cool in NASCAR with propane-powered cars? No, it wouldn't be cool.
It wouldn't last very long. All right, the 3 laps of Daytona.
I'm very unimpressed with the whole propane thing.
Or is it more for barbecue grills and forklifts?
I think I need a vacation from the whole
Oh,
from the whole thing.
From that whole car.
Yeah.
Pull the big block out and put it in that big blue dumpster out there and call it a day.
I may do that. No, actually, what I'm thinking about doing is taking that engine that's in there now. If we're going to do it with propane, actually do it for propane with high compression.
And
yeah,
2 of those hats. And
yeah.
I said, cut it up live. Cut the whole car up live with Sawzalls and put it in the dumpster. See what?
I feel bad getting rid of that car. That car's been hanging around my house for so long. I'm glad that it's actually out doing something now, but I don't know.
Is it the Darla of your cars?
Yeah, it's please. Sammy Scooter, UTG, you mentioned about having the Monte Carlo. Obviously 3,800 powered. No, it was 305. I'm the guy that always asks for more insight on your experience with that engine. I'm a fanatic. How far can it be pushed? The 3,800 is a fantastic engine, but no, mine was an 86. It was a 305.
The pre-front wheel drive Monte Carlo. Yeah.
Let's see. Wagon Waifu. Lots of OEMs still doing their own EVs. GM had that NASCAR. No, the EV thing has reached a dead end, bro. Yeah, it's done. It's over. Landon Custom Classics. Thank you for the super chat. Good to see you too, man. Jokey, Tony, did you have a Monte before or after the Mustang? Oh, after. I had the Monte in 90. Oh, God. So what happened was I got it in 91. I had a deal with, I'm not going to mention his name, but I got him qualified at a national event. This was in Funny Car. And it was a big deal because he had never even come close to qualifying before. So because of that, a fellow named Nick Bonifant, who was clutches, he used to handle the Ray Bestos clutches for the top fuel cars. He hooked me up with deals. He says, listen, you want to work, I'll get you work. So he hooked me up. Anybody who was looking for a clutch guy, a diver, a top end guy, any service, any particular service on the car, I would get the call. So with that, I started having to zigzag all over the country because I wasn't with one car where you're going to travel with the car. I was traveling back and forth and working with this car at 2 events and that car at 1 event and this car at 1 event. So I needed something that I could highway. I could just get on, set the cruise control and go where I had to go. And that's why I picked up the Monte Carlo. And I put almost 200,000 miles on that freaking car. But that's the reason I had it. I had it like in 92 or 93, I think it was. The real 50-inch DOP. My Grand Marquis has a V8 4.6. How can I make it faster? Dr. Art, tell him how he can make his car faster.
What year is it? But you take the early 4.6 motor with the flat top pistons and you put the later better performing cylinder heads on it and you put some gears in it and voila, it's a whole new animal because those 4.6s love gears.
There you go. Get a hold of Andy over at Unity Motorsports. He knows those 4.6s. He's got a friend with a wagon with a 4.6 that absolutely freaking storms. So go check that out. Greg Cobulars. Am I pronouncing it right? Cobulars.
Okay.
Do you think that muscle cars will lose their value when the age group gets too old? Yes and no. Yes and no. Muscle cars or cars from the 60s and the 70s have a universal appeal, right? They're universal. The young guys today, the guys that are messing around with the Hondas and the Subis and everything else, will eventually get their hands on those cars and they will enjoy them. They have no interest in stuff from the 50s or the 40s or brass era cars or anything like that. But 1960s, 1970s classic American muscle cars are timeless. They're beautiful. They're universally beautiful. They're universally desired. No, I think our generation drops dead and the next generation picks up with those cars. And no, I don't see them going anywhere.
Right.
In the meantime, you have a hard time selling your lead sled.
Yeah, your 50s Cruiser.
Yeah.
Nobody wants those.
Let's see. Oh, wagon, way few. I'm in the internal combustion camp myself. Yeah, no, the EV thing was something that was shoved down our throats by organizations and collectives that have absolutely no business intertwining with government. Literally the exact definition of fascism. That's over. It's done. But and I'm not saying that there won't be a market for some electric cars. Tesla and others like that will always have a good 10 to 20% of the market because it really does fit very nicely some people's lifestyles, but not everybody. They don't run in the cold. They don't run in the hot. You can't make efficient, timed, or scheduled long-distance trips with these things. They're a nightmare to deal with unless you operate in a very specific set of circumstances. You got to commute every day 30 miles to work, and you can charge there, you can charge at your house, and you only use them for running around town. They're fine. They fit that market, and they're good. They're a good choice for a lot of people, but not for everybody. Perry Ford is saying, hello, everyone. FE Ford reunion at Indiana Muncie Dragway going on now through Saturday. Fast Fords for anyone who likes Ford FEs.
Where's Bear Rose?
I think you want to make a fortune? Let's buy up all the grease sweep. Let's buy up all the oil dry.
and go to the reunion and sell it for $40 a bag.
I'm sorry, Ford guys. Let's see. War Ghost. Do you guys know if you can find parts for 80 through 90s Chevy medium-duty box dump trucks? I guess. I keep seeing them for dirt cheap on Marketplace. I don't know.
Those things are usually like a rented mule in there. That's why somebody's getting rid of it. I mean, if you got a use for it, if you need a dump truck or a box truck.
Yeah, but I have no idea what to market with the parts.
It's just a truck.
Well, yeah, but everything's scaled up. So, it's like, aren't the scaled up parts as available as...
Yeah. Gabriel DeMarco.
Okay.
Have 8 inches of vacuum at idle, a lumpy cam. How much should the vacuum be reading fluctuate at idle, if not at all?
The choppier the cam, the more fluctuation it's going to be.
With all the overlap, it's going to...
Yeah. So the needle will flutter around a bit. If you got a stone stock engine that's going to pull like 18, right? It'll be very steady. You get into a choppy cam, and the signal in the intake manifold kind of matches the sound that's coming out the exhaust.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Quentin Gill, what's up? Tony, I love your videos as a newer car guy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I have the newer guys in mind. Anytime we crack open a video, I'm thinking of the newer guys. Andrew Button, do you think e-bodies will hold their values?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those have been popular since day one.
Yep. Yep, beautiful is beautiful. It's that simple, right?
Right.
And you look at like a 71, 71 Cuda, any Cuda really. It's beautiful. They're just beautiful cars. And the same thing with the Challengers. You know,
They're all dimensionally right and eye appealing and curvy and
Yep. New Challengers down the road will have a nostalgic thing for the guys that are currently involved with them, right? But the old Challenger, the Challenger, the original Challenger, had the perfect like mix of curve and crisp. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Beautiful, and the new Challenger lost that. So yeah, beautiful is always beautiful, right? It's that simple, and those cars will always be desirable, just for that reason.
Right. And the way I look at it, all the great cars have already been made.
Well, I hate to think that, but yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah, because everything now is just, I mean, it's like bloated versions of the original good cars.
Bloated versions, yeah.
And it's, they get wider, fatter, longer. Oh, let's charge more money the next model year. Let's make it bigger. I mean, a Mustang is now the size of a Galaxy.
Bigger.
Yeah,
Bigger.
just bigger and wider. But yeah, no, all the great cars have already been made. So everything new is junk. I mean, it's just ugly junk. I mean, is there anything in the last 5 years that let even cut it down to 10 years that was really like a styling icon of a car?
Nothing that I can think of that I say. There's no car out there I look at and I say, man, that's sweet.
Right.
Like nothing.
No. Yeah, the champagne overweighted bulbs.
Grange.
Yeah, Grange. Yeah.
Let's see. Andrew Button has 3 442s. Market isn't that strong in those as Chevys or Mopars. Yeah, it never was.
To the right guy with the 442, but you got to get the Oldsmobile fanatic.
Yeah, they've always. I don't know. I happen to love them. I think Oldsmobile out of all of the GM divisions was like the most gung ho, right? They, Elephant Engine Ernie and Doc Olds and all that. They came up with some beautiful packages. But yeah, they were always in the minority, and they'll always be in the minority.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't want any one of those 442s, I'll
take one.
I'll take one. Just drop it off, forget you ever owned it. It'll be fine.
The real 50-inch DLP. How about Volkswagen screwing up big time, making the new bus and EV? Oh, please. I know. What a travesty. They cannot give it away if gas would not be able to make it. All of them. I am so satisfied to see like the Charger go down in flames, the Micro, the new Volkswagen. It makes my soul happy.
Right. If they would have took the concept of the bus, because they paint them two tones and kind of make them look retro, and just made it a regular freaking gas engine where it was drivable and pleasant to drive, and sell a billion of them.
They sold that right, exactly. They sold a zillion of them.
Yeah, let's make them electric because it's
right.
It's a thing to do.
It's just like the Charger. If they had released the Charger with the old drivetrain, just keep keep the Hemi up.
Put the 6.1 Hemi in it.
They would not have been able to build them fast enough. They'd be everywhere. Everywhere you look, there'd be a new Charger. There'd be a waiting list for those cars.
Right. Because everyone was waiting for a 2-door Charger.
Right.
And then they make one and they make it EV and they overbloat it.
Yep.
Fail. Yeah. The point of a bus is long trips, camping, etc. Good luck with an EV. Yeah.
Mexican Spec saying the price of the EV VW bus is not accessible. Well, yeah, same thing with the Charger.
Yeah.
You know, if they had just carried over existing technology, so there's no new tooling for the engine, no new tooling for the transmission, for the differential.
But they've been carrying the same platform for 30 years.
And it works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Why not just keep it going?
Rebody and put the two-door body on
Rebody, exactly. Yeah.
then
all their RD costs would have been in the tooling for the body and the interior and stuff like that. Carry over in the drivetrain. They could have sold that car for $45,000 and made money on it.
oh yeah, and then you would have people putting wings on them and noses on them and all kinds of, you know.
Yep.
But no, let's make a plug-in that doesn't go anywhere.
Okay, they're talking about Pontiacs there, or
Mhm.
Oldsmobiles. So early 400s with balls of fire, but later with 4.25. Okay, these are my Oldsmobiles.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. No fooling. They had it made. Dodge really had it made. It's the biggest corporate suicide you could not have. If you told me that this was going to happen like 3 years ago,
Right.
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, guess what? They're finally going to make a two-door Charger, but then they're going to make
It's
a
going to
battery.
be all EV.
Yeah.
If you had told me this was even with it, like that was not on anybody's bingo card. You know what I mean? They
That's
would pull this.
just. I mean, pull the dumbass out of the hat, and here's what happens.
That's why I say like Tim Kaniskis.
Mm-hmm.
I would have walked.
Just said, all
As
right,
soon
yeah.
as you told me this was, how much do you got to pay somebody
to eat that much shit.
to eat that much shit?
Yeah.
Scoop is saying you can get a two-door gas charger. I mean,
Mhm.
I myself wouldn't go buy one. I'm the same reason I didn't buy a new Charger or a Challenger. I'm just not into it. You know, they don't talk to me. But my Mopar pride would have been like, yes, another generation out there doing its thing, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I am so happy to see that thing go down in flames. I feel bad for the people who work on the assembly lines. I feel bad for the people who you know, the support network that you know, for any car manufacturing. I honestly feel bad for them. But I am so happy. You have no idea. It makes my soul happy.
Very cool. Back to the electric Viking knob.
No,
Is he pretty much? Is he still around?
I think so. I haven't seen any of his videos.
Mm-hmm.
I let that go. I wasn't aware at the time, but he was taking care of his wife. His wife had like stage 4 cancer, and that was his thing. He was so if I had known the personal situation that he was going through at the time, I never would have gotten into a pissing match with him. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hot Shoes really late at the dock. You pay. Well, just make sure you leave a like up there. Look,
Yeah.
Dr. Art, there's only 133 likes.
Well, at least
How's
it's
that even possible?
133 is
Nobody
know.
cares.
nobody
Nobody
cares.
cares. Andrew Button, he heard that China bought the XJ tooling and they were making them over there. No, China had the tooling. China built the XJ until 2016. It was a 4-cylinder diesel. And it has, if you look at a Chinese XJ, it looks exactly like an American XJ, but the grill is different. It doesn't have the traditional Jeep grill. It has like curvy kind of lines. It's a weird looking grill. But they built them until 2016 with a 4-cylinder diesel.
The Jeep grill. Do you ever notice that the Jeep grill it's 7 sections?
Yes.
You know why?
No.
Because
I'm not really-
you get a Jeep on every one of the 7 continents. That's what it represented.
I did not.
So that's the Chinese probably like, oh no, just here.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Nice CCP grill, and it's, all kosher.
Rocco is saying he's surprised that the junkyard jet hasn't made its way back to your doorstop yet. I have no idea what happened to those guys. Do they still make videos?
No, I don't know what happened to Austin. He got married in and stuff, and he kind of just they spit out like a half of one every now and then, but they just dropped off the face of the earth.
I haven't heard or seen from any of them in like over a year, way over a year.
And that was a hell of a concept, just a stripped out 4-door and throw some parts at it and let it go. And
they threw a lot of parts at it.
Yeah.
They have a lot of money in that car.
Yeah.
Rocco's saying the car comes back to you when they're done with it. No. The deal was it's yours. I just gave it to him and you're done. I did have that deal with somebody where the car was supposed to come back to me when they were done, and I forgot what car it was. It was such a long time. There was so many cars, but it wasn't theirs. No, I told them no. This is yours. You go. You do what you're going to do with it. Joe K, do you still keep in touch with Dallas? He does.
Yeah, every so often.
Yeah. And Mopar Al.
Yeah.
How is Mopar Al doing these days?
He looked pretty good because I was over there yesterday with his putting a tune on his Hemi Lark, and then he looked pretty good.
How's it run, the Lark?
It's going to be a bad little car.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to shit and get. So
how close is it to actually hitting the road?
He drove it the other day.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He had the brakes weren't perfectly bled, and the kit that he bought to make that nag transmission work with a Hemi and still have speedometer and all that kind of stuff is need some fine tuning yet.
Okay.
But he took it around the block. It wasn't running perfect because there was a setting in his tune that was off that we turned back on, and it was close, and so we're just down in his tune a little bit. But it's a healthy Hemi.
He did a really nice job in that car.
Yeah, he did.
So Mopar Al, the late, for you guys who aren't familiar, he put a late Hemi in a 62 Skylark.
Mm-hmm. 62, 63, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, an Eagle Hemi. Yeah.
Bill Wilson is saying Jeep frames are trademarked, which is why Mahindra couldn't import their licensed Jeep. I almost bought one of those. The Mahindra Luxor.
The mini Jeep?
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty freaking cool, Mm-hmm. And then I realized the price of them is ridiculous. They're like $30,000 for like a side-by-side.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Keep that. Large Tiff, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all the things you're teaching me. Well, thank you. Thank you for learning. Believe me, I don't even say this, right? I mean, it's like, I get something out of knowing that you picked up something from this. I'm trying to pass stuff on. How much of it is valuable? I don't know. It's just old stuff that's in my freaking head.
Boomer, no, I did not find his front sway bar for it yet. There's people offering me, but never wanting to show me pictures. So if you have one, send me pictures. I'll buy it.
Marco, see, you can get an old CJ a lot cheaper. Yeah.
I CJs I don't like because I don't fit in them.
Yeah.
And they're just, I don't know. I understand the fun part of it and all that kind of stuff, and I've been in many of them off-road, but I just wouldn't ever drive one. So.
Dean Stevenson is saying 50% of all this chat is valuable. You decide which 50%.
That's right.
I let Zero decide which is valuable and which isn't. He'll spit out a percentage any minute now.
Andrew Button, it's a good question. Do you think the 446 pack works better with a 727 or an 833?
With the stock carbs, with the vacuum secondary outboards, automatic all day long. The recovery time is too crazy with the 4-speed. Unless you power shift it. If all you do is power shift it, then it's fine. It's a toss up. But a manual transmission 446 pack, always use the Ford carbs. The Ford carbs have accelerator pumps, the mechanical linkage and accelerator pumps in the outboard carburetors, and it's like this, like night and day.
What's a 6-barrel double pumper? Yeah.
Yeah.
Donut Guard.
Donut Guard, thank you for the super chat. I picked up an old points distributor because of you. Oh, there you go. And all my tech friends at the dealer I work with think I'm a caveman now. They're jealous, man.
Yeah, because they don't understand. What is that? What do you got there?
Yep, they're jealous.
Yes.
Let's see. Quattro 01 cast piston RPM limit on a 390 FE. I don't know. You could ask. It's got to be a relatively light piston. It's a smallish bore.
Yeah.
It's got to be a relatively light piston. But I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody in here who has experience with those with the FE that can give you a more accurate answer to like it. Let's see. Rocco had a 75 CJ5 on an AMC 390 and a 3-speed. My buddy Brandon had that exact thing too. Tilt front end. That thing was a beast. My knees were in the dash though. Yeah. Andrew Button, did A12 6-pack cars have a looser converter from the factory? I think there was a letter designation to that converter. Can't remember what it is. But it's the same one you use on the street, Henny. Is it a J converter? I'm drawing a blank.
You're saying J?
Yeah, J. Okay. He's saying 2,800 RPM stall. Yeah, that might be what they rated it, but I never got one to stall that high.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Dean Stevens saying it's the oiling system and ring gap, not the piston type. You're talking about the cast pistons on the 390? Oh, I don't know about that. Let's see. So what do you have? Dean Stevens, 2350 RPM is the J code. Oh, okay. That's more like it. That's about what I figured. Andrew Button, stock Newport C-body converter, probably a lot tighter. Yes.
In the cruising boat, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have going on now?
I got a lot of computer tunes that I've been doing. I got they're probably sitting at my door, but I got a guy in Florida sent me 3 Jeep computers. Him, his kids, and his spare. 2 6-cylinders and a 4-cylinder. So I'll be doing those.
Extras?
The 2 XJs and the 4-cylinder is a regular. Or C, the YJ or whatever that year was.
So anybody who needs tuning done,
yes.
Why don't you tell them what they got to do?
Get a hold of me.
There you go. Get a hold of Dr. Art.
Go to my channel, watch the tuning videos. I'm probably going to be stepping away from doing the heavy tuning.
Really?
Yeah, because, well, there's issues. Everybody has issues because of crappy exhaust manifolds and leaks and stuff like that. And a lot of them are, 7 states away, and it's hard to control.
Okay. Makes sense.
The JTEC and the Magnums and stuff like that, it doesn't care. So, and those are so much simpler and stuff like that.
Yeah, he tunes long distance. That's the thing. So it's hard for him to actually come. If you send him something from 7 states away, he can't just
right.
run out
And
there
you give people very specific instructions, and they ignore you.
Of course.
And you're like, I can't help you because you're not listening. And they're
the whole point of
and I don't
instructions is to be ignored.
I charge very little for what's done, and then I get ignored. So, but all the JTech, the Magnum folks, and the 4-liter folks are all super happy all the time. So that's probably what I'll do, and I'll work on something else.
But you do all GM stuff and.
Yeah, the LS stuff, the carb LSs, and the turbo LSs, and all that stuff too. So I'll do more of those.
Clantra, thank you for just the random super chat.
And then I have a collaboration coming up. We're gonna putting a person who does a lot of paint work. Gonna put a turbo in his project Chevy pickup truck. He got a 350 and 2-barrel. We're gonna convert it. We're gonna put a turbo on it and a 4-barrel. And
who does a lot of paint work?
Some guy in Colombia.
Guy in Colombia that does a lot of paint work.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay. He's doing a secret collaboration.
Yeah, because he has not to say anything until I put it on his channel. So okay. But that'll be next month. So
let's see.
Yeah, I got a lot of secrets. You have no idea. Mexican Spec.
I'm a wide open book. And he's like all secretive and stuff.
I am. Other than that, what have I got? Like I said, more stuff on the Barracuda. Get him a little bit more dialed in and fit to go, and then a few more videos, and he'll be turned into a pile of silver, I think.
You've joined the Silver Club.
Yeah, I've always been on the fringe, but yeah, I dove in. Yeah, little heavier, not too bad. I dipped my toe in.
Alan Schulderus is saying, my neighbor has a Grand Cherokee with a Hemi in it, has ignition problems, but will not talk about it. He doesn't want to get it off his chest. He doesn't want to confess his ignition problems. Yeah. What's that about?
I don't know.
And Zero put a link to your channel right there.
Yes.
Right? Dr. Art's channel of marvelous amazements and many secrets.
I like that.
You should probably adopt that as the channel's name, or at least
forget the hot rod rehab and
yeah.
Amazements and secrets.
Marvelous amazements and many secrets.
Yeah, that sounds like a History Channel show.
Josh Holman, I'm currently trying to explain to Louis Rossman why tariffs are good since he just released a video opposing them.
Well, he's a commie.
No, Louis Rossman's a good guy, and everybody's entitled to their opinions. In the short term,
it's going to be slightly painful for a few minutes.
You have to go around the current time that we're in and look to what the bigger picture is, okay? Because we're in a reset. This is a reset. It's an economic reset, okay? Period, the end. It's going to last a few years. And part of that reset is eliminating the current economic structure that exists. So the Federal Reserve is going to go. Income taxes are going to go. The good news for most people is that eventually during this cycle, all of your debts are going to be wiped out because they're all valued in Federal Reserve notes. But this is a process that's going to take time. And the first process to disassembling the old system to reset the system is to eliminate as much tax, as much waste as possible and collect money from other sources. And that's what the tariffs are part of. If you're just looking at just like right now, what effect is tariffs going to have in the next year, next 6 months, next year, next 2 years, you're missing the point. It goes further than that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Driveway Misfits is out of here. Yep, we'll see you on Sunday, brother man. Car by Jones, thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they're all checking out.
Wow. Well, it's bedtime for most people. We started late. That's why it's.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. You know, it's afternoon. I did tell Kathy that I was going to get, and we still got that dead thing in the front of the shop. We got to get in.
All right, let's kill it.
We're gonna end this now, guys. So our awesome, fantastic mods, Zero Mexican Spec Fubar, guys. Thank you so much. Everybody contributed super chat. Always appreciated, but never expected. And everybody contributed with your presence and your conversation and the occasional like. Thank you. Would you like to add anything to that?
We're done.
We're done. He's going to press the out button, and we're going to disappear like we were never even here.
Smooches. Have a nice day.
Just like poof, gone. Just like that.
Go on.